Hi, Rachel. Do you have a second? Your brother and I have something to tell you. Hey, Katie, of course. What is it? Mark and I are having a baby. I'm 3 months pregnant now. What? Oh my gosh! Congratulations! We better throw a baby shower soon, then? Oh, we're fine, thank you. I'm sure we'd be better off planning and celebrating for ourselves than leaving it to you. I'm sorry, what? I didn't reach out to you just to let you know that I was pregnant. I actually had a very important favor to ask of you. Once the baby in my belly is born, I'd like to ask you to never show yourself in front of us again. I need to make sure that our child doesn't grow up seeing you as a role model. Are you serious? So you're suggesting that we stop being family? Yes! I'm never going to get to see the two of you or the baby. Exactly. I'm sorry, it's been very difficult being around a high school graduate lowlife myself. And it's even more out of the question to be forcing my own child to be around one, so I'll be maintaining a good distance with you from now on. Wow, just wow. And before you even ask, yes, Mark 100% agrees with this. You know, I would even go as far as to say that he was the one who came up with the whole idea in the first place, that we should distance ourselves from you since you're a high school graduate. I'm glad that the two of us have felt the same way about this matter. You two have always treated me like this. You know that I wanted to go to college too. I had no choice but to start work because that's what our family needed. The company that your parents were running went out of business, right? I've heard that you were all struggling to get by for a while. Our parents were able to find different jobs after that and worked for years. That's the only reason why Mark was able to go to college, unlike me. Are you still going to make fun of me while knowing all of that? I mean, I do feel bad for you, but then again, a high school graduate is a high school graduate, and that's that. Society won't take into account why your educational background is the way it is. Seriously. Through my educated eyes, you people are all the same. And it hurts my eyes when I have to watch you uneducated people make all of these excuses as to why you were unable to get a proper education. It really brings out your lack of dignity. Why is it that the worse the educational background, the more excuses people have? I would never make an excuse if I was in your shoes. So what you're trying to say is, regardless of what I say, the words that come out of my mouth are still those of a high school graduate, so you don't care. Whatever, I get what you're trying to tell me. If that's what you want, then I won't show myself in front of the two of you ever again after your child is born. I was scared that you wouldn't understand me, so I'm glad you do. I'll be headed then. Goodbye!
Rachel, guess what? I now live in an apartment in the middle of the city inside a skyscraper. I'm officially on top of the world.
Oh, wow, that's great. Did you two decide to move in preparation to welcome the child?
Yeah, I read that the location at which you live significantly affects the child's educational outcome. I mean, you can see that it's true from me and Katie. We both grew up in the city, and now we're both graduates from prestigious universities, and work at mega companies. I'm sure our child is going to turn out as bright as the two of us, so we better make sure their environment doesn't drag them down.
I agree. I think it's important for a parent to prioritize education. I've also read that the location the child grows up greatly affects their drive towards achieving well in school.
Exactly! I mean, it's common sense that if you live with idiots, then you'll become one yourself. And in order to avoid that from happening, Kitty and I are raising our child in the best and brightest environment that we could provide.
That's great. Your apartment must really be amazing.
Yeah, it's the type of place that someone with an educational background like you could only dream of. I've heard rumors of celebrities living there, and apparently, it even houses CEOs and managers from all kinds of big companies. That's why the school that's built nearby is one of the best in the state.
Wow, the rent must really be expensive.
Yeah, the room itself is also really luxurious too. It's pretty spacious and has a great view. Sorry to show off like this, but I'm sure you can live somewhere like this if you can go ahead and graduate from college. It probably isn't too late. In fact, I'll invite you over so you can take a look.
You're inviting me over. I thought you hated people who aren't graduated from a nice college. Why would you invite me to your house?
As you've heard from Katie, you'll never see her or me again once our child is born. So I thought it would be nice to have a chance to say our last goodbye. And also, you'll probably never get the chance again, so I thought it would be a kind act to let you come over. I'll even let you take pictures to hang on your wall once you go home.
You know what? I'd love to go. I'm genuinely curious to see what type of luxurious place you'll be living in, so thank you for inviting me.
Of course! As the French once said, noblesse oblige. Let us nobles be empathetic for the poor. You know, Katie and I's total annual income has just exceeded $200,000. It sounds like a dream even to me. I'll show you a view that you'll never be able to forget.
Hello, Rachel. Thank you for coming over today. I always thought that the poor people never had the time or mental space to be wasting their time. But I guess I was wrong. Thank you for making time for us in your busy schedule. Do you never get bored of making fun of me? And you have something to say to me before anything else, don't you? What the hell was that? Why would you throw coins at me when I was leaving? I mean, you brought some gifts with you as congratulations for moving in, didn't you? Well, I was raised to always give back for anything given. We're never seeing each other again, so I thought it would be a good idea to give back to you right there on the spot. Give back? Do you consider throwing coins at me as giving back to me? Oh my, do you not? I thought that the cheap-looking flowers in the vase that you brought today were worth a few dollars. If I'm giving back something of the same value, then I thought a few coins would fit for that. How could you say that? You know, I've always expected you to be poor, but I never expected you to be this poor. I mean, who brings that kind of obviously cheap thing as a gift for others? Those flowers that you gave me made me sure of my theory. People who aren't educated properly have no choice but to become poor. I'd like to thank you for making me reassure myself that I'll never make my children become like you. I chose my present myself, just for the two of you. I heard that you two were moving into a nice apartment, so I thought some flowers and a nice vase would bring the whole interior together. That vase is an artwork that was made by a famous potter. I won't tell you the price because it's a gift, but it's a very nice gift and you should appreciate it. Whatever. You don't have to try so hard to make yourself seem like something that you're not. Through the educated eyes of my husband and I, we can obviously tell that this vase isn't worth anything more than a few dollars. Did you get it at Dollar Tree? Wait, let me guess. You just made it yourself so that you wouldn't have to spend money, didn't you? Seriously. However you got it, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm sorry, but my husband and I have already thrown away the flowers and the vase that you bought today. I see that you chose it yourself. But it just emits some sort of poor, malicious energy that we couldn't take. There was no other choice. I'm sorry. How rude of you. All I wanted to do was congratulate you on beginning a new chapter, and this is what you do in return? I've already gotten used to you making fun of my educational background, but this is just purely heartless of you. I can't take this anymore. Well, then it's great timing, isn't it? We're never going to see each other again, so you can hate us all you want. You'll never have to see us again, and we'll never have to see you either. I mean, I hope so, but I have a feeling that I'm going to have to see you again. What are you talking about? There's no way we're ever wasting another minute talking to you. We're officially strangers now, which means that you'll never be stepping foot in our house either. What a bummer. I'm glad that you at least got to see what a nice house meant for educated and rich people looks like. I'm sorry to break it to you, but I own this building. What? It's true that a lot of people who live here have great educational backgrounds, but it's not like I made that a rule as the owner. I don't care about where you came from as long as you're able to pay the rent. And I don't appreciate how you feel entitled enough to make the rules around here when I literally make them myself. I get that you're mad, but making obvious lies doesn't help your situation, honey. Whether you believe it or not, I own this building, and that's all there is to it. The room that you showed to me, as if you owned the whole world, that room is mine, and you're paying me to live in it. If you don't believe me, come on over to the top floor. You'll see the whole floor is my house. The whole top floor? You two looked so dumb when you were telling me that I'd never live into such a nice place. Every cent that you spend to live here comes to me, for God's sake. Are you kidding? How is that possible? In what world would a high school graduate own a building like this? You're lying to feel better about yourself, aren't you? You can even look at the papers that you signed to finalize the moving in process. You'll see that the room is under my name. Really? I don't care what you want to believe, but if you're going to keep trying to believe that I'm lying, then take a look at it and then bother me. I'll be going then. I'm still furious at the two of you. The coins that you threw at me will be going to donation, by the way.
Rachel, answer the phone right now. How on earth did you end up owning a building like this? This is impossible.
Looks like you finally took a proper look at the papers. How did you not notice anything when you were signing them, for God's sakes?
Even if they had the same name as you, I never thought it would be you. I just thought you had the same name as the owner by coincidence. I mean, who would think that it's their high school graduate sister that owns this place? You're supposed to be a poor lowlife.
Yes, I would be a poor lowlife if I hadn't worked as hard as I did.
What?
No matter how much the two of you would harass me, I stayed focused on my work and brought myself to this position. After paying off our parents' debt, I earned countless certificates to qualify for all kinds of jobs. One of the many jobs that I'd experienced was caretaking. On that job, I ended up working as a caretaker for a wealthy madam who worked alone in her mansion.
At a mansion?
Yes, I got sent there by coincidence at first, but she really liked the way I did things. She ended up scouting me to work for her personally, so I left my company and worked as her personal caretaker.
What kind of fairy tale scenario is that?
I took very good care of her until she passed away years later. In the end, it turned out that she left all of her inheritance under my name.
And you're saying that this building was part of that inheritance?
Yes, this is one of the many buildings and apartments that she left behind for me.
What the hell? All you had to do was take care of some rich old lady for a few years and you got all of that? That's not supposed to happen in real life.
Well, it did, and now I'm the owner of the apartment that you live in. The madam told me that she had to struggle quite a bit when she was younger, and that she was the same as me, a high school graduate. Because of that, her marriage got cancelled and she was harassed at her workplace for years. She said I reminded her of herself.
The old lady never went to college either?
Isn't it amazing? No matter what the odds or what anyone else said to her, she still kept working towards her goals. In the end, she became the queen of real estate in this area. I mean, she was rich enough to hire a personal caretaker, so that says a lot about her wealth. I earned tons and gained a lot of inspiration in the last few years that I was by her side.
But why on earth would you hide that all from me? Not even Mom or Dad know that you have this much wealth, do they?
Of course Mom and Dad know everything about this. They were the first people that I told.
Really?
Yeah, I even suggested that they started living with me, but they said they're going to pass on the offer. That they were glad I was happy and that they want me to live my own life since they took so much away from me when I was young.
Then why didn't you tell me too?
Why did you think that I would even think about telling you? Do you not remember how many times you made fun of me for not having gone to college? I'm not bored enough to deal with you. Anyways, when are you planning to leave your apartment? I hope you're already beginning to pack your things up.
What do you mean? Why would we move out? We just moved here.
You wouldn't want to live in an apartment owned by a high school graduate, would you? I mean, solely judging by the way you and your wife persistently harassed me for years about my educational background, of course. Seems only logical that you move out to avoid paying such a person for living. Or do you plan on continuing to live in my apartment? Because if that's the case, then you probably won't be able to achieve your goal of never letting your baby see me. And besides, your pride as an elite probably couldn't handle the fact that someone below you is literally living on top of you, could you?
I don't believe this. I'm supposed to be the successful one out of the two of us. But even if it's below you, this room is still something that I worked hard to earn. And I paid tons of initial fees. I just can't move out right away. I even invited some friends to come check it out. I can't back out now.
Whatever, I don't care whether you keep living here or move out. As the owner of your room, the only thing I care about is that you pay me your rent. Well then, it's good doing business with you. Hey Rachel, I just have a quick question if you don't mind. Do you think you could give us a discount on the rent as the owner, or could you possibly move us to a higher floor for the same amount of rent? Is that even a real question? No, I won't allow either of those things. Come on, Rachel, aren't we sisters? I'm sure you could work something out for us. Please? How many personalities do you have? Do you think I'm just going to forget about the evil stepsister that harassed me for years? I finally had an epiphany. It's just wrong and stupid to make fun of people for their educational background. You couldn't possibly measure a person's worth with such a superficial trait. I'll apologize for every single thing I've done and said that offended you, so let's start over as besties. Seriously. Yes, aren't you glad to finally have the loving little sister that you always wanted? We should go and have some tea together sometime. I'm pregnant, but I'm still doing well enough to go out on my own. If you're so bored, then why don't you just go get a proper job? I'm sure your college degree would get you a decent job. Maybe you'll finally be able to quit your part-time job. What? I hate to break it to you, but I know everything about you two. As the owner, I have the right to check your annual incomes. You two have been telling me that you're elites who work for mega companies. $200,000 a year. Why the hell would you lie about that? I know that you two only make $60,000 a year combined, and you only have a part-time job. How? Where did you find out? I found out when the two of you tried to move in. I heard that the real estate company declined the two of you because of your annual salaries, and that you two were making excuses that you'd just been fired recently, and that you'd been making $200,000 a year until last year. Mark promised that he would be promoted and would make as much as he used to right away, right? And that you'd get a proper job as soon as you could. How do you know the exact lines of our conversation? You even showed them your student IDs from college, right? Do you really think student IDs from years ago mean anything at all in the real world? How? The real estate agency contacted me right away. And I said you can move in since it's all up to me in the end. All because I cut you some slack as your older sister. Really? But what do you do in return? Try to negotiate prices and pay less. I don't think I've ever met anyone as greedy as you. If you have time to be negotiating prices with me, then why don't you find a job? As you promised, go ahead and show that you're an elite. Of course, that's exactly what I'm planning on doing. It's just that I'm pregnant right now. And I heard that Mark isn't doing too well at his workplace either. Look, I don't care about the reason why you two ended up getting fired from your previous jobs. But you better keep every single promise that you made at the office. If you even make one delayed payment, you're out. Isn't that a bit harsh? I think it's great that you two care enough about your child to move just to give them a good learning environment. But biting off more than you can chew is never a good idea. I heard the preschools around here cost tens of thousands per year, and that's just the beginning. Kids cost more and more as they get older. What? Preschools here cost that much? Did you not look up the living expenses around here before moving in? I mean, we just thought that the living in the city would be enough. Breathing the same air and seeing the same sights as smart people is important in raising a smart child, right? Living in a nice environment won't automatically make your kids smarter. Isn't that common sense? I think the two of you should have a nice, long talk about the future, compare your income with the living expenses around here, and come back to me with an answer. Because things won't always go your way just because you went to a nice university. I found out later on, but the reason that the two of them got fired from their jobs in the first place was simply because they were bad at what they did. They would go around harassing people who didn't go to nice schools like them, but wouldn't do much work either and ended up getting fired. After a conversation, the two properly compared their earnings with their expenses. Told me later that week that they would give up their dream apartment. After that, I heard that they moved into a cheaper apartment. Sometimes I receive texts from Katie asking me to support her child's educational fees, and that they want to make their kids get into the top schools in the nation. But I just send pictures of the view from my apartment in response.
Who are you? Why are you marrying my brother?
I'm sorry. Who might you be?
I'm the sister of the man you're marrying. David is my big brother, you know.
Oh, you must be Sophie. I've heard about you.
Huh. So you know about me.
Of course. David told me about you. We haven't had the chance to meet until now. Nice to finally meet you. I'm Emily, David's fiancée.
I don't care about your introduction. Apologize to me first.
I'm not sure what I should be apologizing for. I have no idea what you mean.
For marrying my brother without my permission, of course. I absolutely won't accept you as our family. So, apologize sincerely.
I didn't realize you were against our marriage. David never mentioned anything about that.
I wasn't just against it. I didn't even know about it. I thought he had gotten back together with Rachel and married her. Why on earth did he marry a hideous woman like you instead?
Excuse me? Hideous woman? That's quite rude, Sophie. You don't even know me.
I don't need to know you. I can see you're nothing special compared to Rachel.
Who is this Rachel you're talking about?
My brother's ex-girlfriend. Rachel is a stunning beauty who's perfect for my brother.
Ex-girlfriend, you say?
We've been close for a long time, and she's always been kind to me. She was like a real big sister to me, and that's why I thought she had finally become my sister-in-law.
I think I might have heard about her from David before. They dated for a long time, right? About 6 years, I believe.
Yeah, they were such a perfect couple. They'd break up after fights, but always got back together quickly.
Oh, I see. That must have been difficult for you, seeing them break up and reconcile so often.
It wasn't difficult at all. It just showed how much they were meant for each other. They always found their way back to each other.
I'm not sure that's a healthy relationship pattern, Sophie.
What would you know about their relationship? You're just an intruder who came between their relationship.
I understand you're upset, but I'm not an intruder. I'm David's fiancé now.
That's why I thought they had gotten back together this time too. I assumed they had finally tied the knot. I don't understand why he's marrying someone like you instead. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, the fact that you're calling me ugly right off the bat doesn't make any sense to me either. I get that you've had some misunderstandings, Sophie, but that doesn't justify insulting someone you've just met.
Shut up, you hideous woman. You're nothing compared to Rachel. You don't suit my brother at all. How did someone like you manage to get married?
Sophie, I think you're being unnecessarily cruel. David and I love each other. That should be enough.
Love? Ha! What would you know about love? You probably tricked him to marry you somehow.
That's a serious accusation, Sophie. I did no such thing.
Wait, did you blackmail my brother? Did you force him to marry you by holding something over him?
Of course not. David and I started dating normally. He confessed to me and proposed to me himself.
That's a lie. My brother would never want someone as ugly as you. I even saw him out with Rachel the other day.
What? You saw David with Rachel recently?
Yes, they looked like they were having a lot of fun together.
I'm not sure what to say. David hasn't mentioned anything about meeting Rachel.
Of course he wouldn't tell you. He probably realized what a mistake he's making by marrying you. For his taste in women to change so drastically, it must be an illness. Maybe he hit his head somewhere.
Your rudeness is truly refreshing. I'm sorry I'm not the sister-in-law you were expecting. But David isn't sick, and our relationship is serious. So, could you please try to accept our marriage?
Absolutely not. If anyone's going to be his wife, it should be Rachel. Who would accept a hideous woman like you?
I see there's no reasoning with you. I'll talk to David about this.
Go ahead. He'll probably realize his mistake once I tell him about seeing him with Rachel.
David, we need to talk.
What's up, Emily?
Your sister Sophie just contacted me. She's strongly against our marriage.
Oh no, what did she say?
Apparently, she thought you had married your ex-girlfriend Rachel. She said she doesn't know me and won't accept me.
Is that so? I'm so sorry about my sister. She's being so rude to you. Actually, I just found out about this myself.
She misunderstood even though you never said you got back with your ex. But I can see why Sophie would assume that. You've broken up and gotten back together with your ex many times, right? It's natural she'd think you'd done the same this time.
Wow, she told you all that too?
Yes, she did. David, hearing that does make it easy to misunderstand. Especially since Sophie seems very attached to your ex-girlfriend.
Sophie has always been close to Rachel. I should have expected this reaction.
Yep. She said she'd absolutely prefer Rachel as your wife. Maybe you should talk to her about this.
Of course. I'll set her straight. Don't worry about it, Emily.
Hey, David, is it okay for us to continue with the wedding preparations when there's someone who doesn't accept me at all?
Of course it is. Don't suddenly start saying weird things. Don't worry about my sister, silly.
There's more, David. Sophie said something that concerns me.
What is it?
But you're still close with your ex-girlfriend, aren't you?
Huh?
Sophie mentioned it. She said she saw you two out together recently. That's why she thought you had gotten back together.
What?
I didn't know you were still in touch with your ex.
What are you talking about? There's no way we'd meet. Must be another misunderstanding. Don't worry about it.
But your own sister wouldn't mistake what she saw, right? She apparently very close with Rachel too, like sisters. I don't think Sophie would mistake who she saw.
Ah, maybe she mistook you for Rachel.
Me for Rachel?
You're the only girl I've been out with recently. And you two are kind of similar in appearance. Especially your hairstyle and the way you look from behind.
Oh, so Rachel and I look alike? That's strange because Sophie said we don't look similar at all.
Yeah, your vibes are similar. Anyway, my sister is just confused by her own misunderstanding. So you don't need to worry about it at all. Let's continue with the wedding preparations as planned.
David, I'm not sure I can believe your explanation.
What do you mean? I told you, it's just a misunderstanding.
But why would Sophie think she saw you with Rachel if we look so different?
Look, Emily, you're overthinking this. Sophie probably just saw someone who looked like Rachel.
I don't know, David. Something doesn't feel right.
Trust me, okay? There's nothing going on between Rachel and me.
All right. I'll trust you for now, but we need to talk more about this later.
Sure. Let's focus on the wedding for now.
Okay. I'll try to put this out of my mind.
Hey, Emily, is it possible to change your wedding dress now?
Now? That's impossible. The ceremony is about to start.
But you really should change it. That wedding dress doesn't suit you at all. It just makes an ugly girl look even worse.
Sophie, I thought we were past this. Why are you still being so mean?
I'm not being mean, I'm being honest. The dress doesn't suit you at all.
Are you serious? I chose this dress very carefully. David likes it too.
Why would an ugly girl choose such an elegant dress? That kind of dress suits slim, stylish people. Emily, you're quite tall, but your shoulders are broad, and your figure isn't the best. It just emphasizes how ugly you are.
I don't think it's that bad. I tried it on many times before deciding on this dress.
Rachel would have looked great in it. She's beautiful and has a perfect figure. Dresses like that are meant for pretty people.
Again with Rachel. I wish you'd stop talking about her at a time like this. This is hard to tolerate on my wedding day.
But it's a fact that Rachel would look better in it. It's just sad when a below-average, hideous woman tries to dress up. It doesn't make you any cuter. It just looks pathetic. Why don't you go look in the mirror?
Excuse me?
You heard me. You're not fit to wear that dress or marry my brother.
Sophie, I've tried to be patient with you, but this is too much.
You know, I'm a kinder person than you might think. I heard you were working on yourself for the wedding, so I thought I might accept you as my sister-in-law if you'd become pretty. But you haven't worked hard. And you haven't become cute at all. Besides, David's ex-girlfriend is so much prettier than you. You're not qualified to be our family's bride at all.
Then let's cancel the wedding.
Finally! Get you out of here, you hideous woman! You finally understood your level. What took you so long to give up on marrying someone who's out of your league?
I'm sorry, I've always been slow to make decisions.
Well then, I'm going to contact Rachel right away. I'll tell her the intruder is gone so she can get back together with my brother soon. I'm sure she's been wanting to reconcile with him too.
In that case, I'll pass on the message. I'm returning your cheating brother to you. So before he gets back together and marries him, They better pay me compensation for what they've done to me.
Huh?
The groom betrayed me and cheated with his ex-girlfriend, and I'm sick of being called ugly by his sister every day. I'll cancel this wedding myself.
Wait a minute. What do you mean he cheated with his ex? Were my brother and Rachel back together?
That's right. They've been secretly dating behind my back. They think I haven't found out yet. Sophie, I thought you'd be happy about this, aren't you?
I am happy. It's really strange, though. If he got back together with Rachel, he should have just broken up with you right away. Why did your brother proceed with marrying you? I don't understand. Why would he do that?
Because if we broke up, he couldn't inherit my family's company. Marrying the CEO's daughter means a secure future. He wanted the title of future CEO more than his pretty ex-girlfriend.
What? CEO's daughter? Wait, are you the heiress for my brother's workplace?
That's right. We explained it to your parents during the marriage greeting, but you ended up not showing up. It's not surprising you didn't know. But now the wedding is canceled. The engagement is off too. I'll leave as you wish, and I'll start the divorce proceedings right away.
Wait, Emily, I didn't know. I'm so sorry.
It's too late for apologies now, Sophie. The damage is done.
But what about my brother's future? The company?
That's not my problem anymore. He made his choice.
Oh no, wait! Please wait! Stop! Please, don't leave!
David, it's over. I know everything.
Please come back! I absolutely don't want a divorce! Come back and let's have our wedding!
Sophie told me to leave, so I left. I can't go back to the venue now.
I'm really sorry about Sophie. It seems she said a lot of rude things, but I won't let her do that ever again. And I'll explain once more that there's no chance of getting back together with Rachel. I'm telling you, it's true when I say that you're the only one I love.
You don't need to lie to me anymore. Everything about you and Rachel is already out in the open.
Huh?
I've been bothered by what you said before, so I investigated you too until I was satisfied.
What do you mean? What did I say to you before that was bothering you?
The story about Sophie mistaking how I looked from behind for Rachel. You said we had similar vibes, but I couldn't believe that. Even more so after hearing Sophie say we were so different. So I decided to hire a private investigator.
A private investigator? Emily, isn't that a bit extreme?
As you know, I'm a CEO's daughter, so I have money. I had them do a premium investigation plan. And they got perfect evidence of your affair. Photos and voice recordings.
Emily, I can explain.
It seems you two are making fun of me a lot. Saying, I'm marrying her just for the money. I don't love her at all. Remember? I know what you said. She's ugly. And that's why I made her change her hairstyle and clothes to my taste. But that's the best she can do.
How did you find out everything? That was a private conversation between me and Rachel at the hotel where we stayed at. You're invading my privacy.
Your privacy? You're asking me to respect that while you're cheating on your fiancé? That's ridiculous, David.
I didn't mean for this to happen. I promise.
You know, I really liked you, David. That's why I worked hard to become closer to your type. I even grew my hair long because you said you liked longer hair in women. But you only said that because you were trying to replace me with your ex-girlfriend, weren't you? You were in love with her all along instead of me.
Wait, no, Emily. I sincerely apologize for the affair. I'm beyond sorry about it, and I regret it so much. But, you should know that you're the only one I truly love.
How can I believe such words? I'm divorcing you right this moment. I'll report everything that you've done to me to my father right away.
Please don't do that. I'll break up with Rachel as soon as I can, I promise. I just got carried away because things escalated between Rachel and me. We were together for a while. There were some lingering feelings, but I absolutely won't do this again.
That's right. You dated for 6 years. Of course there would be feelings that don't disappear even if you got a new wife. In that case, why don't you just get back together? I won't have any trouble divorcing you.
You may want that, but I don't. Please, Emily, reconsider the divorce.
That's absolutely impossible. Goodbye for the last time. Please contact my lawyer for any future matters.
I'm so sorry for everything I've done. I had no idea that Emily was a daughter of David's company, CEO. I apologize for all the disrespectful things I've said.
Well, what's gotten into you? This isn't like the sassy Sophie I know. Are you sick? Did you hit your head or something?
No, it's not that. I truly feel sorry from the bottom of my heart.
It's too late for apologies now. Don't worry about what happened. But hey, isn't it great that David got back together with Rachel? With me out of the picture, they can get married, and you'll finally get that pretty sister-in-law you've always wanted. You must be thrilled.
This isn't great at all. They didn't get back together. They broke up in an instant. The worst part is that both of them are furious with me. David said it's my fault he got divorced. He said it's because of me that his affair was discovered, and he lost his chance at marrying into wealth. I've never seen him so angry before.
What a pathetic man. Lashing out at his younger sister like that?
And Rachel is terrifying when she's angry. She also says it's my fault that their affair was exposed, so I should pay the settlement. She says she's been so kind to me all this time, so I need to take responsibility. I had no idea beautiful people could be so scary when they're furious.
That's what's been happening. I was wondering why the settlement hadn't been paid yet. So, the two have been taking it out on you, huh?
Yup. David is being horrible with the compensation, too. He's telling me to pay his share of the settlement. Please, I'm begging you, forgive them both for the settlement. Otherwise I'll go bankrupt. I'm so sorry.
You know, Sophie, I'm not just ugly looking like you say I am. I'm also a mean person. So, unfortunately for you, I absolutely won't forgive them.
Don't say that! You're the CEO's daughter, so you must have plenty of money. You don't need to get any money out of this, right?
I'm not asking for money because I want it. I'm demanding it to make them take responsibility for disrespecting me. So I absolutely won't forgive them. And I don't care where the money comes from, so the three of you can figure it out together. Make sure you tell them both to meet the payment deadline without fail. Well, we probably won't see each other again, so take care. Later on, just before the payment deadline, David and his ex-girlfriend Rachel transferred the full settlement amount in one lump sum. I heard that after this, they had a huge fight and decided never to see each other again, even deleting each other's contact information. On top of this, David was told he'd be transferred to a remote location for work. I heard from my father that he quit his job soon after. Rumor has it that he hasn't found a new job and is living as a shut-in at his parents' house. Apparently, David keeps taking money from Sophie's wallet saying, "It's your fault, I lost my job and everything else, so you need to take responsibility." And every time, Sophie replies, "I didn't do anything, it's your fault for cheating." The relationship between them has been destroyed because of everything that happened. In the end, I heard that both of them were kicked out of David's parents' house too.